Well, apparently, my my opening screen wasn't long enough. Stand up and be counted for. I'd stand up, but you'd only see like between like the bottom part of my sternum and just above my kneecaps, and that's not a good look for me. So where are you from? Hey, caboose in the house. Hoot hoot. How you doing, buddy? What is up with this camera? It is like seriously blurry. You don't need to call me sir. I've never been knighted. Here's a kill of comedy. Oh, John Lobley. Hey, how you doing? I saw you on what was it? Jordy's. I think no, it was uh, RJ Sandefur's show. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. If you guys get a chance, it was a 2.5 hour interview. RJ Sandefur did with me. Yeah, I know. I don't know how to fix the focus. Um, it's apparently my camera got drunk for the holidays, and it's still kind of like got blurry vision. Yeah. But yeah, RJ Sandefur interviewed me on was it Saturday night at 7 o'clock, and I put a link in my community tab for the uh, for the replay. Now, computer's been acting. I'm doing good. My computer's been acting up a lot lately. Anymore, I can't run um, StreamYard and YouTube at the same time. And settings. Uh, go standard definition here and see if that helps. Oh, now I'm crystal clear. Um, but yeah, RJ Sandiford did a interview with me, and we were laughing. Oh God, that was a lot of fun. Like I always thought the first time I got interviewed by a media source of any type, it would have been something like, "So, what do you think of the sentence the judge just gave you?" So, hey, Steven, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. Glad to see four people here, anyways. Um, yeah, I think what we're gonna do tonight is do fan favorites. So if you guys have a favorite of my clips, just let me know, and when I get to the end of one, I'll go to the next one, or take a little break in between them and do a little bit of discussion. Um, but yeah, uh, we'll get going with why people, or not why people, but why I shouldn't be going on people's uh, panels doing singing, and they asked me to sing a song. Um, when I was in grade school and we had music class, we had to sing like all these different high note songs, because like when you're like 6 7 years old, your voice is like basically touching the moon. Mine dropped early. My voice dropped when I was like 6 or 7 years old. So I've always had a deep voice, and at that time, your voice is fluttering back and forth, and you're hitting like all the keys all at once, and it was my vocals has always been a mess. And so I'd be singing the national anthem, and one teacher actually came up to me and said, "You know, if you keep singing the national anthem that poorly, that badly, it could almost be construed as um, uh, degrading the country, and that could be construed as treason. You don't want to go to jail for that. So, you know, they'll give you better marks if you just quit singing." So, uh, fast forward to about 25 years ago, my buddies, you know, they always like to see how I react to things. And they ended up taking me into this karaoke bar. And when I go to a karaoke bar, I like to sit down, have a few drinks, and listen to the people sing because they can sing a whole lot better than I can. Like my singing never got any better. So I'm sitting there, and they're filling me up full of this stuff called liquid belief. And I got to about the second picture of it, and all of a sudden it was like, "Yeah, I think I can sing." And I went up to the DJ and I requested a song, and my song came up. It was Kenny Rogers, "The Gambler." And I figured, okay, that's an easy flowing enough song that in my condition I could probably keep up to it. And you know, the song started out, and I made it to on a train bound from nowhere before the first piece of popcorn hit my head. I was singing that badly. By the time I got or a quarter to the first chorus, people there was no popcorn on the tables at all. It had all been thrown at me, and it was coming at me from every direction. Halfway through the song, everybody just left. They had nothing left to throw at me, so they left. They just booked it. And the owner, poor bastard, little Chinese guy who's fresh off the boat, come up to me, rip the mic out of my hand. He's like, "You," and I'll never forget what he said to me because it still rings in my ears this day. He was like, "You sing it so badly. I should sue you for lost income. You make everybody leave. Yeah, you career price out." So then he kicks us out of the bar, and while he's yelling at me, I'm trying not to laugh to make matters worse because in the back of my mind, I'm envisioning myself having an argument with Elmer Fudd, and I'm just waiting for him to go, "Wascally Wabbit." So, yeah, I don't go up on people's singing channels to go and sing a song because, you know, and I'll let you guys know this right now. I doubt you can afford the loss of subscribers. So just don't invite me to the panel to sing a song. So let's get on this here. Stream are gonna keep doing this to me. My best joke: kid goes into a pet shop, wants to buy a fly. Shopkeeper says we don't sell flies. Kid says, "But you got one in the window display." Okay. Yeah. My brother told me, "Oh, Netvlogs is in. Hey, how you doing, Nets?" My brother told me this knock knock joke. It's a World War II Nazi knock knock joke, and I hope nobody gets offended by this because there's no offense meaning by this or with this joke. It goes knock knock, and then the other person's like, "Who's there?" And you go, "Baby, be asking you questions." Um, what else can we do here? What else did I do on RJ's website? Oh, I did um, the, the people asking me dumb questions. Now, I get asked dumb questions all the time, and for someone to ask me a dumb question, it's really not the smartest thing they can do. I'll just Basically, I consider a dumb question that if you already know the answer to the question you're asking and you're not a teacher testing your students on what the topic is, it's a dumb question. Like, and if the answer to the question you're asking is staring you straight in the face, like, oh hey, rustic outdoors. If the answer to the question is staring you straight in the face, then please, my God, don't ask me a dumb question like that. Like this one time, I'm on my way home from the grocery store and I stopped off at this lighting place to buy this specialized bulb for this lamp that I've got. And I didn't want to put it in my backpack so that, because it would, break before I even got it home. So I just carried it. So here I am walking in my city, and I found out something about the city that I live in is if you walk 3 miles in the city that I live in with a light bulb in your hand, somebody's bound to ask you a dumb question. I get to this corner where there's street lights, and I'm waiting for the green light for me to to walk across the street safely. And there's a coffee shop behind me. Well, this dude just bolts out of this coffee shop, comes directly up to me, and he's on a mission. He's got to ask me a dumb question for the day, and he did. He was like, "So the bulb burn out?" I just looked at the light bulb and was like, no, I like to keep my good ideas around with me everywhere I go. I put the bulb over my head and said, by George, I think I've got it. The way everyone starts laughing in behind me. All of a sudden, this dude in behind me goes, here's your sign. Because that's Bill Engvall's sign. I'm looking around for Bill Engvall. I'm like, hey, I want to meet this guy. So another time someone asked me a dumb question was I went into this dollar store. Now I'm on a fixed budget. So you got to buy things that are friendly on your fixed budget. And I go into this dollar store and at the time I was doing hockey coaching, so I needed paper and pens and stuff like that to keep track of everything. And I was just going through the classes, so I needed to write stuff down. So I buy paper and pens, 2 packs of paper and a pack of pens, and the lineup was so long because it was Halloween. It was actually Halloween day when I went in there, and the lineup was so long. I get to the back of the line, wait my turn, and I look over, and bing, there they are, my favorite treat, Tootsie Rolls. I love Tootsie Rolls. So I just grabbed a little bag like this. There must have been about 25 in there, and I threw it in my basket. And when I get up to the cashier, he's scanning. He scans the Tootsie Rolls, and he's like, "Oh, getting ready for Halloween?" I'm like, "Really?" I say, "Yeah, yeah, I'm getting ready for Halloween, all right." And they give me 3 pieces of paper and a pen and tell them they got to give me a 3-page essay on how big of a waste of time it was coming to my damn door. Well, this guy's looking at me like, duh. And all the people behind me are just losing their shit laughing. Fast forward 365 days, the very next year, I'm in that same store, and this time I'm buying my grocery items like bread and you know oatmeal and peanut butter and stuff like that. Cookies, whatever. And again, lineups almost like halfway through the store. So I go to the back of the lineup when I get all the stuff that I wanted to buy, and as soon as I get to the back of the lineup, oh, there they are again, Tootsie Rolls. So I just grab a bag of them, throw them in there. And when I get up to the cashier and the same guy, how did I, roll the dice for this one? I get the same guy. He skins the Tootsie Rolls and says, "Oh, getting ready for Halloween?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make him eat a sandwich and hope they're not allergic to peanut butter." And again, this guy's like, "Duh." And all the people behind me are just losing it. I get all the way out to the front door of this mall, and this dude, I have no idea who he is still to this day. I didn't know him from Adam, and I still don't know him from Adam. Stops me in my tracks and goes, "Oh, you went to the dollar store. What'd you get?" I'm like, "Random items. I don't know you." And then I just walked out the door. But why people ask me the dumbest questions is beyond me. Like, of course I went to the dollar store. It's printed on the outside of the damn bag. So, but that mall, I got a lot of funny stories about that mall. One time, it was, I'll bet it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like May or something like that. And again, like I had to do some grocery shopping or whatever like that, and I was near the mall, and I was like, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom." So I bolt on by this sign that says what's going on in the courtyard, and I get to the top of the escalator, and that's where the courtyard is, like the food court is. I get to the top of this escalator, and as I'm cresting the top of the escalator, I see it. The one thing that I am the most afraid of. Here's this dude in the food court, and he's got these little kids. Like there must have been about 10 or 12 of them lined up, and they're all like holding this great big Burmese python, a snake. I'm terrified of snakes, and it stops me in my tracks. And so this guy, he takes one look at me, and he's like, "Hey there, you, the big guy with the dark glasses on. Come on over here and give us a hand with this guy." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. No, I'm not part of the class. You can give me a zero." And he's like, "Oh, don't tell me a big guy like you is afraid of snakes." I said, "Well, okay, I don't have to. So you've already figured it out." And he goes, "Do you know that snakes are more afraid of you than you are of them?" And then I farted because like I had to go to the bathroom real bad. You get the pee pee farts, and I farted, and I was like, "Really now?" I said, "Did that snake shit itself when it saw me?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Well, then apparently I've got him beat." And the guy behind me is like, "Oh yeah, he did." So then I go to the bathroom, I do what I got to do, and I come back out, and it was nuts. Oh, there was another piece to that uh, uh, karaoke story. I forgot to tell. We get out of that karaoke bar, and we go two doors down, and now I've got to go to the bathroom. So I go into this. We go into this comedy club, and they're just getting ready to gear up for their second show. So we're like, okay, we'll buy tickets. And I was like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. So I run to the bathroom. I'm doing what I got to do at the urinal, and this guy stands up. Your guy comes up beside me. I'm still laughing about what happened at the karaoke bar with Elmer Fudd back there. And this guy's like, "Oh, what are you laughing about?" And so I tell him, what happened in the karaoke bar. Turns out that was the MC for the show, and he starts up the frickin' show with my material, and I'm in the middle of the audience. I'm going, "Hey, you riv my material around." The entire crowd just lost it. He was laughing so hard he couldn't even finish his set. He gets off the stage, and the next comedian goes up, and out of the entire bunch of them, I just sat there and just watched. I didn't laugh. I was getting all their jokes before they even said them. But yeah, so who all we got in the house here? We got Nets Vlog, Rustic Outdoors, John Lobley. It says we got three people in here. I'm a bit gassy today. I don't know why. I didn't eat anything or drink anything that would have provoked gassiness. Oh well. Cup of coffee, everybody. Happy New Year. Oh, yeah. For some reason, all these programming sites like YouTube did some upgrades, StreamYard did some upgrades, Google Chrome did some upgrades. Everybody's doing some upgrades, and the people with the hardest, the people with the weakest computers, we're getting pushed out. This is how they push us out. It's like, oh, we got to make our stuff wonderful. No, you got to make it reasonable. Um, let's see here. What else can we do? Uh, we can do. Uh, Anybody got any suggestions of my materials that you've seen? Do you want to see me doing them live? Hello. The only thing that the new year really brings for me is happiness that I know that spring is actually coming. 'Cause here in Canada, it gets cold outside. And ever since I stopped smoking indoors, I go out on my balcony and I smoke out there, and I get to watch nature as it's happening. And well, one time I was out there having a cigarette, and the wind blew the ash off my cigarette, the loose ash off my cigarette, and it landed in a spider web. And as soon as it landed in the spider web, it jiggled the spider web, and this spider come out of freaking nowhere, just booked it right to this ash, and started grabbing it. I'm sitting there just laughing because I'm thinking, what's this spider thinking? Like, oh boy, dinner time, and then it reaches out there and bites into that thing. There, this one's a bit dry. And then another time, I was out on the balcony and I saw these two squirrels going at it, like not fighting. They were they were having fun, and I was just like, "Oh, that's pretty interesting." And I kind of just as I'm kind of looking away, I just kind of caught them out of the side of my vision. Just as I'm looking away, I watch them fall out of the tree. Well, I started laughing. Like, what can you imagine what was going through their mind? Like, oh, was it good for? It was so good for me that the earth moved. Um, uh, red face, droopy eyes, red face, droopy eyes. Yeah, I see on StreamYard. I can't see your emojis here. Uh, so all I get is like it says like if I was to type it in, that's what I would get. Um, who else is all in here? Everybody, give me a shout out here. I know I got Nets vlog. It's good to see you in here, Nets. I wish I could find out who's in. Live viewers, fuck. StreamYard. It's on me again. Um, if you guys see any choppiness in my Top Cat Talent Show, hello everyone, and from Pittsburgh. Hey, I've been to Pittsburgh. I almost got mugged in Pittsburgh, actually. And what happened is I was in Pittsburgh with some friends of mine, and they were going to introduce me to these prominent rich guys that they knew. And so I meet these guys, and these guys are freaking wealthy. Like they got diamond rings the size of my glasses, like size of my lenses on their fingers. And then their wives got like freaking jewelry, like it should be in Fort Knox. And so we're at this convention thing. And I think that was the weekend we saw Sammy Kershaw, and then we had a break. And we were going to go for lunch to this uh, Boston Pizza that was just you go through this alley, and it was like right there on the corner. And uh, so we're going through this alley, and this dude jumps out from underneath or from behind a trash bin with a knife, and he's like demanding our money, like wondering, Scott, hey kid, hey, how you doing? So this guy jumps out from behind the trash bin. He's got a knife and he's like gonna rob us. And I'm like, well, I got $60 in my pocket, and I know these guys back here. They got like probably between the four or five of them, they got like $1 million on them. Like these guys were rich, like combined. And I got like $60 in my pocket, and I'm like, no, this guy is not gonna get my money. No way. So I reach for my wallet and I don't keep my money in my wallet. I keep it in my front pockets where I can name. So I go to hand it to this guy. I put it in my left hand. I go to hand it to this guy. This guy goes to reach for it. I pull and I drop it. And as his head goes down, I just come over top of him and I knocked this guy completely out. He dropped like a sack of potatoes. And uh, so I tied him up with his belt and stuff like that, and some cords that I found in the alleyway. I ended up like these guys that were back there, they were getting ready to lose like $1 million between the five of them. And I was like, no, this ain't gonna happen. They ended up giving me $1,000 a piece for saving them so much extra money. Tell them about the postman. What postman? What postman? Wandering Sky? Um, Elmer Fudd? Uh, Going after the Wasky Wabbit? Oh, Nebo! Hey, buddy! Everybody, I want you to know this guy here, Wandering Sky, very good friend of mine from Netherlands. And interesting fact um, about Nebo and Wandering Sky and myself is we used to play PlayStation together, and we used to have a lot of fun. And when I told him that I wrote and self-published my book that I did, this dream that I had, and I told him about the dream. As soon as it went out on self-publish, he went out and bought a copy of it. And then I found out some information that was kind of, not quite right. So I made an edit in my my file, my story file, and then I went to post it. And Wandering Sky bought the copy before the edit went through. So he's got a one of a kind copy of my story with the before the first edit. And I'll tell you right now, if my story ever goes like viral and they make a movie out of my story, that book is going to be worth its weight in diamonds. It's good to see you here, Armin. Tell them about the postman. The postman. I'm having an issue with my CRS. Can't remember shit. Um, but yeah. Uh, what else has been going on? Um, I think I caught Santa Claus looking away again because he was really good to me this year. Um, you know, da, 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 postman. That's gonna bother me, Armin. That's gonna bother me about that. I'm gonna have to try and remember what that story is all about. Um, but for some people, they know me like Wandering Skies know me for many years, and he knows that I've been on stage at comedy clubs before, and there's always a story behind the story. Like you could see, when you watch a movie of a stage performer getting they're going on stage for the first time. You only see them going on stage for the first time in their performance. You don't really get to know the story behind the story. What happened to get to that point? What happened, behind the stage scene in the green room? You don't get to see all that stuff. Well, when I went up on stage for the first time, it was funny. I was working at this factory, and I was on the social committee, trying to, raise events so that people did more than just work. It's all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So I was working on this idea of having a dinner and comedy show at Yuck Yucks in an outlying city. So they said, yeah, you do all the footwork, you do all the legwork, you do all the everything, and we'll pay for it. Just figure it all out, and we'll get it paid for. I was like, cool. So I'm out there selling tickets and in contact with Yuck Yucks and making sure that they know what's going on and we know what's going on and how much it's going to cost and whatnot. I'm selling tickets and all these people that I've been working with for like 6 or 7 years. They're all like, "Oh, you going to be on stage? You going to be on stage? You going to be on stage?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 I'm not. No, no, I'm not doing that." So while I'm doing this, and I'm getting my numbers together, and on a certain date, I was like, "Okay, I'm going to call them, and then I got to go to work because I was working afternoons, and they didn't open until 2 o'clock, the same time that I had to go to work. I had to leave for work, so I was getting ready to call them up, and all of a sudden my phone rings. I'm like, "Oh man, what telemarketer do I got to get rid of in order to make my phone call?" So I go over to the phone, and on the call display it says Yuck Yucks in Windsor, and I'm like, "Cool." So I pick up the phone, and I was like, "Hello, Psychic Friends Hotline." Well, this lady starts laughing, and this manager starts laughing. He's like, "You know what? If you can do," he goes, because like some people have been calling while I was selling tickets, and people were calling this Yuck Yucks and saying, "You got to get this guy on the stage. Here's his phone number. You got to get this guy on the stage." There's like 35, 40 people gave Yuck Yucks my phone number and my name and said, "You got to get him on your stage." So I was like, "What are you calling here for?" Like I got to call you about the numbers for the plant coming to this weekend. And he's like, "Okay, so we took care of that." And he's, "Have you ever thought about doing stand up comedy?" I was like, "Not really." Normally, when I was doing public speaking in school, I would stutter like Porky Pig. Like as I'm reading it, I'd be stuttering like Porky Pig. And he goes, "It's totally different from being a stand-up comedian because you don't have to read it; you just have to remember it." Like that's another problem. I had no memory. I can remember shit that happened. I remember stuff that happened 10 minutes ago. So he goes, if you want to try it out, here's what you need to do. Give me an audio tape of about 5 minutes worth of material that you might do on stage, and I'll decide whether or not you can do it, or whether or not I'd want you to be on my stage. So I was like, all right, you're gonna have to give me a little while to figure this out. He goes, yep. So I gave him the numbers for the plant, and I went to work. I never told anybody what was going on, that I was thinking about doing this. And the next day, I went out and bought myself a tape recorder and some tapes, and the only tapes that I could find The only tapes that I could find were 90-minute tapes, so 45 minutes on each side, right? And so I get home and I'm typing on my computer and writing all these you know comical things that had happened to me in my life. And I ended up I'm sitting there reading them onto the tape, and I ended up filling one full side of this tape. So I gave him 45 minutes worth of material. He wanted five. So I packaged it up in a manila envelope, and I'm like, okay, in a couple days I'm going to race to Windsor, drop it off, race back to go to work for 3 o'clock. So I do that. Oh yeah, I remember that one now. So um, I race to Windsor. I come back and I go to do my job, and the I never told anybody what was going on. Well, the very next day, okay, at about 7 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call. It wakes me up, and the manager, he's sitting there laughing his ass off when I answer the phone. I was like, "Hello," and he's just sitting there laughing his ass off. He's going, "Listen, if you can do any 5 minutes of any of that material, you'll do fine on my stage." I was like, "All right, let's hook it up." So he hooks it up, And then I tell everybody at work, hey, I'm going to be on, Yuck Yuck stage this date. Well, 45 people ended up showing up from work. I knew 45 people before I went on that stage. And there was like 245 people in the audience. So the day that I was supposed to go, I had to switch shifts because I was working steady afternoons and I couldn't be in two places at once. So as soon as I told my boss that I was going to be on stage, she just switched my date. She just switched, that afternoon shift for day shift and put somebody else in there. So I had to go from on Wednesday. I had to go from 11 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning, and like be back to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I had like 7.5 hours, or actually only 7 hours in there to get some sleep and eat. Well, when I got home, I raced home. Get home, first thing I did was just go to bed. Yeah, screw it, just get in bed. I'll take a shower when I get off work on Thursday. So I get into bed and I find out that my neighbors are the most loving couple in the world because every night for like 3 months in a row, these two are going at it. And with the walls being so thin in an apartment building, you could hear everything that happened because their bedroom is mirrored next to yours. You feel like just going, poof, 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 hey, switch. So uh, I they get done their stuff. They get done doing their stuff. About like 2:30 in the morning from like 11. Get done at about 2:30 in the morning. All of a sudden that night we had the worst thunderstorm, thunder and lightning, and every bolt of lightning sounded like it dropped right next to my bedroom window. I got like zero sleep. So the next morning I'm just like feeding myself chocolate bars and Tim Hortons donuts. I got freaking coffee coming down by the gallon. And people keep asking me, going, hey, so you nervous for tonight? You nervous for tonight? I'm like, I'm too fucking tired to be nervous, man. I got like no sleep, between my neighbors and the weather. It was, forget it. So I go to Windsor and with a buddy of mine, and backstage, all the other amateur stand-up comedians are too scared to go first, so they shout me up front. So I'm like, all right, let's get this over with. So the MC goes up, he messes up the introduction. I go up and I clean everything up, and I start my set. I get done my set, I get everybody laughing, everybody having a good time. I go back behind the thing there, or behind the stage, or not behind the stage, but in the lobby area. And the manager's like, oh man, that was great. You ought to go down to the States to go do some shows down there. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm from Canada. We don't have, we've got gun control. He wants me to go to the States. And I was like, dude, there's no way I'm going to the States to do a comedy show. He's like, why not? And I said, because I don't want to be opening up my show with, don't shoot, I'm Canadian. And he's like, oh, yeah, you ought to do that. I said, I don't want to give him any ideas either, man. Like, no. So after he takes off, the MC comes back. And the MC and I are just cutting jokes left, right, and center. Like you just can't shut it off when you got that much adrenaline going through you. So we're just making each other laugh, just ramping each other up. And all of a sudden, in the audience, like you can hear every word that the amateur comedian is saying because nobody's laughing. You could hear fleas running around on the carpet because nobody's laughing. This girl, she's about 21, 22 years old, beautiful girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, looks straight at me, right into my face, and says, "Oh, Mr. Funny Pants, what's your sign?" I just looked at her and went, "Slow down and playing," just like that. The amateur or the MC just dropped. Just he couldn't handle onto his knees in here. Like his knees just let go. He was laughing so hard. So I'm picking him up, and she takes off, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Man, I really messed that up." Oh yeah, you did. Well, the comedian that was on the stage, he's bombing, and the MC goes up to save him, gets him to come back. In order to get the people back laughing again, says what happened out in the hallway. Doesn't say when it happened, who it happened, why, when it happened, but he just said, he watched this whole situation happen, and the crowd just lit right back up again. He introduced acting. come back out. He goes, "Hey, thanks a lot, man. Hey, man, leave my material alone, man." But yeah, that's the story behind the story. And I ended up doing it like three more times after that before the lights really got to bothering my eyes. But one other time I went on stage was at Leo Dufour's, and there was five people in the audience, and I brought three. Like it was like they did not market their amateur nights very well, and they would not sit together. They sat actually like so far apart that you had to do this back and forth to see if you could catch somebody's sense of humor. And it was the toughest show. I ended up opening the show with, "So it looks like everybody else here is decided to chair." But yeah, the postman joke that Wandering Sky's talking about. We were playing Skyrim on the PlayStation 4, and so he's sitting there and he's like, "Man, I got all these tasks to do. I got all these missions to do. So I feel like a postman." And I'm like, "A postman? What do you mean a postman?" He goes, "Go here to do that. Go here, drop this off. Go here, pick this up. Go there, drop it off. Go here, pick it up. Go here, drop it off." He goes, "I feel like a damn postman." So yeah, that was funny when it was happening. Another time I was playing a game with my friend George from South Africa. I'll never forget this to the day I die. We're sitting there having fun, and I just said to him, I said, "Yo, George, I got a question for you." And I was just trying to be a smartass. I was because we were playing Farming Simulator, you know. And I was like, "I got a question for you about farming." He goes, "Okay, shoot." And I was like, "Okay, I know they call animal maintenance husbandry. Does that mean that they call crop maintenance wifery?" Just for just for a laugh. And he's like, "No," he says, "the reason why they call animal maintenance husbandry is because the wife says, I ain't picking that shit up." Yeah, we had some good times there. We had some good times there, Armin. Yeah, but lately I've been working on the YouTube channel and you know doing some other things on the PC. And yeah, I haven't really touched my PlayStation for a little over a year now. But yeah, I should get back on there once in a while and say hi to everybody. But I'm I got so much shit going on the PlayStation or on the PC. It's not funny. Um, what else can we do? What else can we do? Uh, yeah, I miss Grand too. But like I said, I got so much other things going on the PC. I sit down and I do this, and it's like I'm doing videos and editing videos and Leo Journey, Leo Journey. How you doing? That was on your channel there last night. Yeah. Um, so I'm just going to reiterate now that there's more people in the audience. I'm going to do the bit that I did at the very beginning again. And there's more people in here. I laughed a lot enough. Thank you, Rolla. I'm going to go back and do the bit that I did at the beginning because there's more new people in here. Yeah, GTA sucks in my opinion. I never did like the game. The game's all about how big of an asshole can you be. Yeah. But the very beginning of the live stream here, I did a bit about why people should not allow me or ask me to be up on their singing channels to sing a song. I'm doing good, Leo. Leo, if I said that right. Yeah. Listen to Wandering Sky. He knows. He knows how horrible my singing is. He caught me once. So when I was in school, 5, 6 years, 7 years old, my voice dropped. and my keys were all over the place, and my tone was all over the place. And my teachers got so pissed at me from not being able to carry a tune in a bucket, basically came up to me and said, "Listen, we just don't want you to sing anymore. We'll give you good marks, we just don't want you to sing. It's disrupting the class." And one teacher actually said, "You sing the national anthem so poorly, it's almost like a disgrace to Canada. And if you disgrace Canada, it's considered as treason." I was like, "Well, I don't want to get arrested for treason, No." So, I quit singing, and they they gave me better marks. So fast forward to about 25 years ago, my buddies who love to get a reaction on things take me into this karaoke bar, and I was enjoying myself, watching the people sing, and some of them were really good. Some of them just a little bit better than me, and but they still were better. And my buddies were filling me up with this new drink called Liquid Belief, and I got about maybe two pitchers in, and all of a sudden I was like, I think I can sing. So I went up to the DJ and requested a song. The song was Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. I figured that was an easy paced song to follow along with. So I get up there, they start the song, and I get to the lyric, on a train bound from nowhere, which is the second line of the song. The second line of the song is when the first piece of popcorn got flung at my head, and it just kept coming from there. By the time I got to the chorus, there was no more popcorn on the table in the bowls. It had all been thrown at me, and people started leaving. By about halfway through the song, the place was clear. Like, it was empty. Like, I was up there announcing a bomb threat or something. Please leave me in an orderly fashion. The owner of the bar, bless him, bless his heart, is little Chinese guy, and he was just fresh off the boat, so his English wasn't all that good. Comes up to me, just rips the mic out of my hand. He's like, "You sing so badly," and I'm trying not to laugh. He's like, "You sing so badly, you clear price out. You make everybody wait. I should sue. I call my lawyer, sue you for lost income." Well, I'm still trying not to laugh because in the back of my mind, I'm imagining having an argument with Elmer Fudd, and I'm waiting for him to go, Wesley Webbit. So then he kicks us out of there. We go down the street, couple doors, and there's this comedy club, and they're getting ready to spool up for their second show for the night. So my my buddies and I, we go in there, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I'm at the urinal, and I'm still laughing about what just happened. This dude pops up in beside me in the next urinal, and he's like, "What are you laughing at?" So I tell him. Turns out he was the MC for the show. Opens the show with my material. I'm sitting in the middle of the crowd. I'm going, "Hey, you ripped my material around." He starts laughing his ass off. He can't finish his set. The crowd is going nuts. So the next comedian comes up, and they were just it was a shit show that night. But yeah, what a what a time. Still laugh about it today. I still get that ringing in my ear. "You sing us so bad, Reek. Your career price out." Hey, Gismar. Yeah, he was all income. He's calling his lawyer. Yeah, because that career price out. He just opened that bar that weekend. So yeah, it was it was a big deal for him. Top cat talent. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Steven, glad you're back. Yeah, but like stuff like that happens to me all the time. It happens to me, happens around me. Like one time I'm on my way home from the dollar store, and the sun is really bright, and my eyes are really sensitive to light. So I got my head down, and out of the side of my vision, while I'm walking down this rough street, I'm walking down the street, and there's the crows had gotten at this dude's garbage. and noticed I noticed on the ground this spent condom, and so I'm like, ooh, yuck, and I jump away from it, and all of a sudden I start laughing at myself because I've taken first aid enough, and I used to be a first responder. I know that there's no way that AIDS can jump up and go through my jeans and infect me off of a spent condom because it's probably all dried up anyways. So I'm just laughing inside myself about how stupid I was. All of a sudden, about 20 feet up, this little boy, about 4 years old, rolls by on his bicycle with his training wheels on it. And I'm a really good judge of distance. This kid stopped dead. And I know exactly where he was because his mother was about 10 feet in front of me. And she's like a beautiful woman, just totally gorgeous woman. Went from totally gorgeous to totally horrific when I hear from behind me, Mommy, Mommy, look, I found a balloon. Right after that happened, this all of a sudden wet naps start flying out of that purse like lightning bolts coming from Mount Olympus. And she was racing past me, and I'm trying not to laugh and make things worse. I get around the corner and I just couldn't take it anymore. I just lost it. I just fell over and started laughing. Mommy, Mommy, look, I found a balloon. I had a hard time sleeping for a week because of that. Yeah, it was nasty. But that's where comedy comes from. Some of the nastiest or darkest places. Oh yeah. I think Armin fell out of his chair when I told him that when there what was that, a few years ago. But uh what was another limo? Huh. Geez, Armin, you're coming up with stuff that I haven't thought about in years. Yeah. Oh no, that kid was only about 4 years old, and yeah, he was like a African American. He's like, Mommy, Mommy, look, I found a balloon. I just about lost it. I'm hoping it's soon there, Armin. Uh, I, I really, I'm really working hard on him. Oh, um, did you notice that there's a change in the cover on on two of the books? Those two books are cover, and once my artist gets done drawing up the other three books, I'm gonna flip everything over to the covers that are on the hardcovers and eliminate the generic covers that I started with. And those covers that I started with are going to become collector's items if my story ever blows up. So, like that'll just make your book worth a whole lot more. I can't wait to come to the Netherlands to notarize that for you. That's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to getting the income together to run down to the Netherlands and notarize that book for you. That'd be fun. Person turquoise waving. Yeah, I can't see the actual icons, emojis, because I've only got StreamYard up. I can't run StreamYard and YouTube at the same time. For some reason, my computer all of a sudden decided it didn't want to be strong enough to hold time, so I can only do one operation at a time. Um, what else is there? What else happened in the last little while? Oh yeah. Well, being that we're both bigger guys, I think we'll both end up being in shorts. I'm not. I'm not the kind of guy that gets off, with those dress slacks and you know, button up t-shirt, button up shirts and tie and suit jacket. Screw that stuff. It may give me some shorts, some blue jeans, or a sweater and a t-shirt. Hey, I'm comfy in that stuff. Put that suit and tie crap on me. You can strap one of them on me when you burn me up when I die. Um, what else? For those of you who don't know, or for those of you who are just tuning in, on my community page, there's a link to an interview with RJ Sandifer that he had me on his channel. And well, it was a lot of fun. I, I I had a lot of fun. I was laughing so hard. He was laughing so hard. It looked at some points he was trying to dry tears out of his eyes. Like, we had a lot of fun. Uh, yeah, yeah. Dutch guy bought my first book. Go figure. Usually, you figure a Dutch guy would be waiting for them to be in the secondhand store for him to buy them. But Harmon's got a big heart. Yeah. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Oh, I know what we can do. I can go for a smoke. I'm gonna take about a 5 minute break here. I'm gonna put on my average. Everybody, it's time to. Hey, go smoke. Hey, I'm back. Yeah, my computer decided to shut down for a bit. Um, well, we only got 3 people left. Damn, we're missing some people. Uh, so coffee, good. Oh, chicken, huh? When I was in school, I went in grade 2. We went from block printing to cursive writing, like the hook and loop cursive writing. And all the teachers found out that at any given moment I would be the one to disrupt the class, and I took being class clown to a whole brand new level. Nobody was pulling the kind of stuff that I was pulling. So this teacher, she really didn't like me. She hated me. I had no feelings for her either, other than the same for her. So she writes this great big long note, 3 hours to write this note on the board, and expecting 7-year-olds just learning how to decipher this new hook and loop cursive writing into their notes. It's not going to happen. So I'm sitting there, and then my theory was I'm going to just scribble it all down as fast as I can, and when I get home, I got time to kind of neaten it up. So this teacher, she's walking around and checking everybody's progress and checking to see how far everybody's getting on a note. She takes a look at mine. She stops and she's like, "Can you actually read that?" And like, my handwriting is really messy to begin with, but when I'm in a hurry, oh, it's totally illegible. She's looking at my paper and it looks more like Picasso's version of ink stains on a windstorm. So I'm sitting there and she goes, "You can you actually read that?" And I'm like, "Well, kind of." She goes, "You stand up and read that chicken scratch to the rest of the class," saying this to the class clown, right? So I was like, "Okay," because my parents, they always told me, they if an authority figure tells you to do something and it's morally correct, you got to do exactly what they say. So I stood up and cleared my throat. Well, everybody else just started rolling out of their seats. They were laughing so hard. Nobody got another thing written in their books. This chick got so pissed at me, she just pointed to the door. And that's when I realized I was going to be going to the office for the 4th time that day. So I get my coat on because we were in the portables, which is basically basically a trailer on the outside of the main school. So basically, the trailer trash of the educational system. So I get my coat on, my boots on, and I head to the office. The principal asked me, why I was back again. So I tell him, and after he stopped laughing, the class was over. He dings the intercom system for that teacher to come to the office. He ended up giving her 2 weeks off with no pay for mocking a student. And I was like, I win one. So yeah, that's my chicken funny story. But when I was outside, I was like, uh, I was thinking, about dreams. I get the nuttiest dreams. Like, I had a dream one time I died and I went to heaven. And if anybody knows my past, that may not be the place I end up going. But it's a dream, so I just kind of went along with it. I kind of figured it was a dream, so I just went along with the movie. So in a dream, I was supposed to wait for my turn to go meet my maker and have my conversation about what I had been doing on Earth. So I'm sitting there waiting. I'm gearing myself up because this is the conversation I've been waiting to have my entire life. And um, I'm still waiting to have it. I don't want to have that right away, but I'm still waiting to have it. And so comes my turn, and I'm at the door, and I'm getting ready to go in. And I'm gearing myself up to the point where, yeah, now I'm ready. I open up the door, and there he is, sitting behind the desk. Snoopy from the Peanuts. The little beagle, little dog. I was like, oh, oh my dog. They've been spelling your name backwards for over 2,000 years. That's the only thought that came through my head. Well, that woke me up because I was laughing so hard that I literally had to jump up and run to the bathroom to make it in time. Otherwise, he was going to be like, do I got a hole in the roof? Do I got to call the roofers?" So, and I've had other dreams where they were like, really vivid. Like I had a dream that I won the lottery, and I said, "Screw this! I'm tired of the cold. I'm going someplace where it's like warm." And my destination is like the Philippines. I'm going to head to the Philippines because I hear it's warm there all the time. So I get all my passport, my paperwork all set up and ready to go. And the first leg of my journey is it goes smooth from here to Calgary, from Calgary to LAX, from LAX to cross the Pacific to the Philippines. We get about halfway. Misha, hey, how you doing? We get about halfway to the Philippines in this dream, and all of a sudden, we're cruising at like 40,000 feet. All of a sudden, the plane just drops 1,000 feet, like just that. Now, when that happens, a few things are going to happen. Like you're gonna drive for a little bit. So, and having the kind of money that I won in the lottery in this dream, I'm up in first class with all the people that are comfortable with flying and know what can and will happen. So all the people in coach are sitting there screaming their faces off like it's the end of the world. Whereas I'm looking around at all the interesting things happening in first class. There's a kid over here. He's batting peas that jumped up off his plate out of the air, and he's gobbling them up like Pac-Man, going. Tum, 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 tum. There's a guy over on the other side sitting there, still working on his laptop. Just going up and down. Gravity's not there. Bless her heart, the stewardess, she's doing a handstand on the ceiling like she's a stalactite. And I don't know what was going through the lady's mind who walked into the bathroom 15 seconds before the turbulence hit. I can almost imagine that be like woohoo, but hey. So after watching all this nutty stuff, I start laughing so hard that I can barely breathe. I got tears just rolling down my cheeks. When the stewardess touches back down on the floor, she comes up to me and she's like, "Sir, are you okay? Let's do it again." But those are the kind of nutty dreams that I get. Like, how are you, Misha? Glad you can come in on the crazy train here. That is, if you're still here. Uh, another time I got busted for acting out in class. Was grade 10 biology. Now, the grade 10 biology teacher, he didn't do his homework. How is he supposed to expect me to do mine? So he didn't do his homework to find out who was going to be in his class, like who was going to come to his class. Because like he totally bypassed the idea that the year before there was a 53-foot semi that came in to pull to bring the records from the school across town. Now, in the front seat was the box of everybody else's files, and in the 53-foot long trailer was my file, and it filled it. So he had no idea. Like this teacher didn't do his homework, so he had no idea what kind of a person was going to be sitting last, and tells us on the very first day of the semester what day we're going to be dissecting frogs, which gives me time to cook up something funny, and I did. So it was about a couple of weeks later, and comes the day that we're going to be dissecting frogs. I show up, getting ready, and when nobody else was looking, I switched mine out with a live one and was like, "Mine's getting away." Well, all of a sudden, everybody starts falling on their chairs, laughing their asses off. Some girls were over there puking. Some people were fainting. The teachers just trying to, keep order in the pandemonium that was going on. And here's this frog just hopping all over the place. He ended up tossing me out of the class, but I had to finish the rest of the semester with a glass stuck to the frickin' door so that I could, write down what was being said. That was the worst punishment I ever got for acting out in class. I had to finish the class. Yeah. Um, what else can we do here? Caboose, it's been a long time since seen you, buddy. Uh, John Lobley, 2 a.m. in UK. Yeah, I'd love to go to UK sometime just to see Big Ben and London Bridge and stuff like that. And there's a couple of people there that I met through the PlayStation that I'd like to you know bump in and say hi to. You got a lot of gain on it. Oh, you got a lot going on. Yeah, yeah, a lot going on. Netblogs. You're not posting much on your channel anymore. Yeah, I took a little bit of a break there myself. I had just I had some health concerns, and it was just like a bad time. Uh, just like in the early part of the fall, like for us. And then all of a sudden, Christmas started ramping up, and then I was like, after the new year, I'll get right back into it, and here we are. you know, yeah, life has a habit of getting in the way sometimes. Like um, oh, I've seen some cooking shows. I've been on some cooking live streams, and it reminded me of well, you started a new channel back in September. It reminded me of this story that I always remember whenever I'm cooking something with onions. I gotten a job at this restaurant on the 401 here in my area, and the 401 is a major highway. It's a major highway that connects the most southern tip of Ontario to like the mid the middle part of Ontario, and then it branches off from there, goes east and west. But in the area that I'm at, there was a restaurant that I got a job at, and I started off as a janitor, and then 2 weeks later they promoted me to cook. So I had to learn all the prep cook. I had to learn all the you know how what goes with what in each meal, and all that other stuff. And this one time, this one guy was I was going to school with. He was basically showing me the ropes, kind of thing, and he had to prep some onions. And he says, "Hey, prep these onions, but I got this way to get it done real fast, no tears." And I'm like, well, I might need to learn this. No tears from onions, right? Sign me up. Especially with the number of onions that we had to do. Like we had to do 10, 20 pounds of onions at a time. So if you can find a way to do no tears with onions, oh yeah, yeah, sign it up. Let's get it done. So I was like, don't don't start anything until I get back. And he's like, I just need you to chop the heads and the tails off it and peel them. That's it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can do that. So I went back there, and, 25-pound bag of onions. I buzzed the ends off them. You know, got the knife and buzzed the ends off them, peeled them, threw all the stuff, all the peelings away. And I was like, all right, they're good to go. Just don't start until I get back. I want to see how this is going to go on. So I go and I do the bathrooms, take care of the bathrooms, and I, you know, check the floors and stuff like that. And then I wash my hands and stuff. As I'm coming back into the prep kitchen area, in order to do so, you got to go walk through these double doors that close. You got to walk through those double doors, do this little zigzag kind of thing, and walk down this little hallway. Then this other little zigzag thing to get around the takeout. and then there's this big prep kitchen. Well, I, I get around to where the prep kitchen is. I see this fool, and this guy here, he was like, at school, he was like, I'm all that in a bag of chips kind of thing, kind of guy. Eh? And as soon as I see him working on these onions, I just lost it. I dropped and I start laughing. All you can hear in the entire restaurant is me laughing my butt off. The manager, who's 65 feet away behind two sets of closed doors, can hear me laughing my butt off, runs into the back kitchen to find out what's so funny. She turns the corner and sees this guy, Rob, on the meat slicer. And every time he slices those onions, that juice goes right up and splashes him right in the chest, right in the face, and off it goes. The place is just soaked with onion juice. And there I am just losing my ass laughing about 20 feet away. Manang, how you doing? I'm just laughing my ass off 15 feet away from this moron just running these onions through the freaking, and he's got tears coming out of his eyes. It took us a month to get that smell out of the prep kitchen. We had to regrind the butcher block tabletop just to get the onion juice out of it. Well, they sent him home. I had to finish his shift. And wouldn't you know it, that night, the day special, or that day special was liver and onions. And every time he freaking came up with a liver and onions order, it was all I could do to try to stop laughing. Hey, Manang, how are you today? Yeah, it's evening here. It's like 9:18 p.m. Um, but it only took 3 days. Like everybody see me at school laughing at him every time I saw this guy, Rob. They're like, "Hey, what are you laughing? Why are you laughing at Rob all the time?" And they start laughing. It took 3 days to get all the way around the school to the point where he was so embarrassed. He not only quit his job, he quit school and he left the province. Like he bailed it. I didn't mean for that to happen. Every time I see cooking away with onions, I remember that story. It makes me laugh. Yeah. Oh, but you can have fun at your work no matter what. You just gotta have you know the mentality that this is not just some place you go to get paid. Go there, have some fun. As long as you keep it within the bounds. Like if you're a doctor, like it's not the time to play hide and seek with the instruments. But I had this pool. I worked for this pool company, and I was cleaning cleaning these pools up. And in the summertime here, it gets warm, so I was wearing shorts, and I got this patch of psoriasis on the back of my left leg. And every now and then it gets like really itchy and it gets scabby and it looks real bad sometimes. And I'm cleaning this lady's pool, and all around the pool there's these little toy sharks. Like there's like the ring that's got a shark head on it. There's little floaties that are sharks, and this little girl is just a fanatic about sharks. She come up to me while I was vacuuming the pool, and she goes, "Mister," and the sweetest little girl, the sweetest little girl. She's like, "Mister, did you get bit by a shark?" And I couldn't help but like play along with her. I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah," but I don't taste very good, so he spit me back out. The look on her face was like, "Oh, you're very lucky." Yeah. And another time I was working at this pizza place, and uh, I was working at a pizza place in the afternoon, and on days I was working at a factory, and I only had like a half an hour, like just barely enough time to get from the factory to the pizza place, change my clothes, and to take my first order. And all of a sudden, this one day, I'm from Canada, Ontario, Canada. Where are you from, Manong? And this one day, it was like tractor day, so all the tractors were in front of me. And why they decide to to play on the highway during shift change hours is beyond me. Like they got all the rest of the hours. Do it then. Go out on the highway then, when nobody else is out there. But no, they got to go during shift change hours. So I'm trying to weave in and out of these tractors, and I get on my phone and I call my boss at the pizza place. I'm going to be late. Tractor day. I'm having a hard time getting by these tractors. So he's like, all right, no problem. Just get here when you get here. So I, got there as fast as I could. Raced into the store, changed my clothes real quick. Didn't even have time to say hello to anybody. I had to grab the next order and pull it out to the to the to deliver it. Excuse me for a minute. Oh, I had to blow my nose. Otherwise, it was just going to bother me. But so I get this order and I race to the door to deliver it. And then luckily it was not too far away. So I get there and I'm still kind of pissed because when I was at the factory job, I got blamed for something somebody else did. And that put me in a bad mood right away. And then all of a sudden, tractor day, oh, I was not in the greatest mood. I'm at this door and I got this guy's food and I'm trying to be as polite and happy as I can be. And he opens up the door and there's this 2-year-old little girl there. And she immediately put me in a better mood. She's like, pizza guy's here, pizza guy's here. Oh boy, the pizza guy's here. So what I did was I give her the bottle of pop that they ordered, and she's like, like, like trying to balance this thing. Like it was funny watching her. And I'm doing the exchange with the father. Well, as I'm doing the exchange with the father, all of a sudden I find out this 2-year-old little girl has a twin sister, and I also find out that she was taking a bath because she bolted from the bathtub out to the front door, still sopping wet, still in the buff. And she's like, pizza guy's here, pizza guy's here, pizza guy's here. And I'm trying not to laugh and make the father feel uncomfortable. And he's like, well, I bet you see this all the time. Yeah, I said, usually they're older than that. So yeah, you just gotta look for the fun at work, and it makes the day go by a whole lot better. It's about time for another coffee. Beer at the back. Uno momento. I can still talk because I got a system set up here that I can just kind of reach through a wall and pour my coffee, and it's not that far. Just you get to see my podunk ass chair. Uh, so who's all left in the house? Uh, let's see here. Oh, just lost somebody. 101, 101, 101, 101. Shut. Internet medic, please. Shutters down. Wang, hey, how you doing, Wang? Oh, it's nice to see you here. Yeah. How long you been watching? How long you been here? Did you get to see some of the routines, or are you going to catch this on the replay? Catch it on a rebound. Yeah. Uh. Let me. Uh, I'm gonna drop my Instagram. If you want me to ship you some of the information channels that I found to help make your videos flow better and go better and do better, then I'll ship you those videos that I found. Um, the main channel that I found to help me out was Nick Nimmin. Fantastic person, um, and he is so knowledgeable about building a YouTube channel and creating better videos. That if you take his advice and use some of the, like, I've got a playlist of free software that you can download to do your edits, to make your edits more clean, and put pop-ups here and pop-ups here, wherever you want to do. Put in music backtrack in the back, all kinds of stuff. um, I have a video editing playlist to go right from concept of video right to uploading it on YouTube. So if any of that'll help you out, you know, take a look, take a watch, and watch it again if you you know don't catch it out of the first time. That goes for anybody who's building a YouTube channel. Just you know hit your hit that playlist, and it'll show you all the software that I use, from OBS to Krita to uh, Shotcut, um, all kinds of different softwares that I use to produce the videos and get the somewhat quality that I get. Mind you, this backdrop is a piece of garbage. It's just a stained white sheet that I use to just kind of block everything behind me. So this way here, there's not all kinds of garbage hanging around all over the place. Oh, you're leaving, Wang? Please don't go. Uh, yeah. Um. Yeah. If you you know, it's the importance of hitting the like button. So whenever you're watching a video that you like I said, I've got that playlist, and it shows, and I even give downloads, like download URLs. You just click it, and then you just go through the downloads. Um, uh, you just download it and go through the site to hit the download button, and you just go through the program to load it up. And then after that, you can use that program, and I show step by step, full screen. I'm not even on the screen, but you know full screen on how to do it, and I expanded my pointer so it's easier to follow. So staying much I could give me a reason to stay then. Well, I could tell you I'd get naked, but uh, YouTube would not like that, and I think the image would be burned into your eyes, and I really don't want that to happen. But if you stay, I could probably make you laugh a few times by telling you some of the funny stories that have happened to me in my life. Like, uh, you just showed up, and a few other people just showed up. So I could probably go back and do the why I don't sing on other people's channels. But there's a lot of people here that are the whole time. So, um, what other? Oh, hey, I got a question for you. Um, I know that there's a lot of single mothers in the Philippines, and I want to move to the Philippines someday. Um, uh, and I heard from the Philippine Peace panel that they test everything in the Philippines. Like, you buy a package of light bulbs and they screw each one of them into the fixture just to show that they all work. And then, if you buy a TV, you're going to be there for the afternoon. I was just wondering, is the reason why they have so many single mothers in the Philippines is because they test all the condoms as well and they have a hard time shaking the fuck out of them? That's that's one of my all-time favorite jokes. Is how do you reuse a condom? Hey, turn it inside out and shake the fuck out of it. Mind you, I'll probably have to edit this live stream before, like when it goes when I finish, to get rid of, to beep out all the bad words. But that's something I'll have to deal with when I deal with it. But no, I definitely want to run to the Philippines. Like that's why I want to build this YouTube channel. Build my YouTube channels this way I can go to where it's warm. Like to handle a typhoon every year. Yeah, to me that's just a little bit of rain. It's still warm. Here, when we get a blizzard, it's like a typhoon but freezing weather. And you don't want to be freezing and wet at the same time. Mm-mm. Um, yeah, if anybody doesn't know, Wang is a YouTube vlogger from the Philippines. She has a lot of great content, especially if you're looking at learning about the Philippine culture, learning about the Philippine people, learning about the Philippine area. Wang is a great content creator, and she could really use your support. And I just wish RJ Sandifer was here. If he is, and just kind of like laying in the background, how do you doing, man? I had a lot of fun on your channel there the other day. I had a good laugh. Like we both did. Watch the replay for that. It was a lot of fun. We got each other laughing big time. Uh oh, I know what I can tell you guys. I can tell you why they call me Crazy Kid. It's just the reason. Like this is one of the things that people have been asking me over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, why do you call yourself Crazy Kid? Well, because it's my nickname. In 1996, some friends of mine from work said you should get yourself a computer, get on the chat room, and you can learn a lot about other cultures. And I was like, oh, that's like fun. And so I, 2,500 bucks, boom, got myself the computer, got myself the internet, you know, and I started up, with dial up internet, beating, 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 you know, like it was, it was the slowest piece of shit you could find. And so I'm in there on this Yahoo chat room, and at and I a lot of people think I'm nuts. I'm just a kid at heart. Okay, so I just made that as my screen name, kid underscore at underscore heart. And I got talking with a bunch of people and started become making friends with people. And I made friends with this lovely young lady from Hong Kong. And we were sitting there shooting the breeze after a while. Every other night or whatever like that, we get together and shoot the breeze and get into private chats. So we're in this private chat one time, and the main room is full. Okay, so this guy comes in and he decides he wants, and this is my first interaction with the troll. I didn't know what the trolls were all about before this. I know now, and I know how to handle them. So this guy starts picking on somebody to the point where they just leave, and he starts counting them off like like he's like the count from freaking Sesame Street. One, two, 12, All of a sudden, people just start leaving before he even starts to attack them, and then he sees my name. He's like, "Oh, kid, what are you like 7, 8, maybe 12?" I was like, "Back off, dude. I probably got gray hairs on the back of my nuts that are older than you." So he's sitting there. Oh, no, no, no. You're like 12. Does your mommy know that you're using her computer and all this other stuff? And he starts trying to insult me. And at the time, I'm like typing with one or two fingers at a time, hunting and pecking for every one of the letters that I can manage to make 7 words a minute. And this guy's making like 70 words a minute. I don't back down when it comes to somebody's stupidity like this. So I start firing back at him. Next thing you know, we're in this internet battle of wits with a half-wit wonder. And after about half an hour, we get into your mama jokes. And he's like, "Oh, I saw your mama, rolling down the street with a shopping cart, pushing a shopping cart. I asked her what she was doing. She said, moving." And I just got fed up with this guy. And I was like, "Listen, dude, I can tell that your mama is totally horrible at giving blowjobs because you're here." There was a pause for a few minutes, and he's like, "Hey, my mom's good at giving blowjobs." And I went, "Oh, really now?" After that, what was left of the entire room, which was about 35 people, they're all lighting a fire in this guy's ass, just making fun of him. Stuff from like, "Oh, family that plays together, stays together," like, and I didn't have to do much after that. And this guy fucking he leaves. He got so sick of everybody beating him up, he left. So then I was like, one, and everybody starts laughing. They're like, "Oh man, that was great, that was great, kid. That was great, kid. That was crazy, kid. That was crazy, kid." And after a while, everybody was like, the entire room was like, "You ought to go and change your name to Crazy Kid because that suits you better." Well, when 35 people from around the world tell a person from a democratic country, where you count the votes to find out what what's going to happen. When 35 people out of 35 people tell you that your screen name should be Crazy Kid, you change your name to Crazy Kid. So I jumped out, rebranded myself, come back in, and since 1996, it's been Crazy Kid. So then I go to work after this happens, like the next day, and I tell everybody what's going on, what happened, and they're all just like laughing their butts off. That day, from that day to the day I stopped working at that place, anytime that they paged me at work, it was always like, "Crazy Kid to be four, Crazy Kid to be four." It's been my nickname ever since 1996. So now you know, Wang, why they call me Crazy Kid. Because I don't put up with nobody's bullshit. Yeah. But, everybody thinks I'm nuts. Everybody thinks I'm like lost, like one screw loose. I'm just a kid at heart. I just love to have fun. I love to make people laugh. I love to see beautiful women smiling. That's what calms me down. That's what calms me down the most is to see people happy. That's why I like doing stand-up comedy because it makes people happy. Happy people don't fight. Like I'm happier than you are. Can you imagine that fight? Like um years ago, I was talking about guys on the PlayStation. I got this one friend, Zach, from down in Alabama or down near Alabama. He says to me, he says, "Hey, what's it like up in your area, kid?" And I was like, "Well, it's pretty awesome, pretty awesome." I says, "You know, people don't, people are polite here. We we let people go. Let people do things that they want to do. Like if a fight ever breaks out here in Canada that doesn't happen on a hockey rink, it has generally started with, no, I insist you go first. Like that's Canada for you. We just, it's like, oh well, whatever. But you try to take our land, oh, and you're gonna find out how protective we are. And in 1814, no, 1812, the Americans found out how much we like to keep the border where it's at. So, did you like that story, Wang? And John and Caboose? I know Caboose loves this story. Oh, and that's liked it too. I'm glad you're still here, and that's fantastic. I hope you've had a lot of fun tonight. I might actually end this in a little bit. I'm kind of running on steam here, but yeah, yeah, I think I told you that. I think I told you that story the first time on one of my live streams, and then I went to your live stream one time, and you were still laughing about it. It was a few days later. John Lobley, I'll check out Wang, but don't tell the P I was unfaithful. Hey, you know what? The more information you can give yourself when you're looking at the possibilities of even just visiting for, like a vacation, the more information you can give yourself from different sources, like, I would suggest, take a look at the Peas video, take a look at Filipino Peas videos, take a look at Wang's videos, take a look at Rebuty's videos, take a look at Polly Old Dog's the old dog night new tricks. Take a look at his videos. Take a look at Today with Baby May. Um, take a look at Philly in the Philippines, Geo in the Philippines. Um, Definitely take a look at Fourth Impact. Fourth Impact is a musical group, musical girl band that is phenomenal. Like, even for me, like I'm a guy, and like I could you know fan crush, but yeah, the first time I ever watched the Fourth Impact video, it was roughly at the same time last year, like 1 year ago, like around the last couple of weeks here. And I was doing some housework after the Christmas, yada yada yada, cleaning up the mess from Christmas. And so I was, put on some music on YouTube, and I just put on X Factor stuff because, like, I was like, oh, whatever, I just need some background music. So I just put on X Factor, and I was like, oh, I need to take a break. So I went out on my balcony, had a cigarette. I come back in. I was kind of, just kind of relaxing a little bit. And the very next video, which came up like 3 seconds later, was Fourth Power, Raise the Roof, Jesse J Hit. And if you get a chance, check it out. It's a fantastic video. And it's an X Factor video. Um, so they do the VT, like the video trailer, and they're doing the interview kind of thing. And they're talking to these four Filipinas. And they're all very beautiful women in my eyes. Like I've always been attracted to the female or to the Asian females. There's just something about them that when they smile, their whole face just light up and just beauty, you know. But so there's these four beautiful women, and they're being interviewed, and then they show the them going on the stage, and Simon Cowell in them, and Simon Cowell asks them uh, something like, "So who are you?" And they said, "Well, we're Fourth Power from the Philippines." Then he asked him another question, like, "Who put the band together?" He's like, "Oh, we're sisters." He's like, "Oh, nice. Do you all live here in England?" And they're all like, "No, we flew in from the Philippines." Like within 30 seconds, he had forgotten that they had told him that they were from the Philippines. Like I thought it was Simon Cowell's job to use his ears to find talent. If he can't even hear that they were from the Philippines, and then less than 30 seconds later, ask them where they were from. Hello, like how good are your ears? And then in the VT, Caroline Flack was interviewing them in lineup. They said, "Oh, this is our mom." Caroline Flack literally asked their mother in front of them, "So, are they good?" What a question to ask their mother. Like, talk about dumb question of the century. Like, if I was there, I'd be like, "Nah, we suck. We fly all the way around the world, wasting all kinds of money in jet fuel just to show the entire world how total of a singers we are." Like so. Then they get into the routine. Get up, they take their poses, and I'm like, well, if they're gonna take poses, they're gonna be putting on like a dance performance as well. So, anybody when you see a singer, taking a pose before the song starts, they're definitely going to be doing choreography. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. All of a sudden, Mylene starts off with the first few words of this song, "Bang Bang." It took me by such a surprise, I fell out of my fucking chair. I got up, rewound the clip, and I was like, and I'm buckling myself. Yeah, I'm holding myself to the chair. And I'm sitting there like, holy smokes. And then Irene gets in, and Mylene goes back on, and then Elmira gets in, and is like, whoa. And then Selena gets in, and then they get into the rap. Now, at this point in my life, there's two kinds of music that I did not like. One is pop, because it wasn't giving me the message I wanted to hear. The second one was rap, because for the longest time, rap was all about, you know, separation, segregation, like degradation, disrespect of the law. It was violent, it was disrespectful. So I just said, I don't want that shit in my life. And this song ended up being both of those genres tied into one song. And I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, I was just enjoying, I was even bebopping along with the song. And then I was like, I got to find out more about these. I spent the next 4 or 5 hours looking up everything I could find about this Fourth Power group, which ended up after that episode got aired, there was a conflict of the copyright of the name Fourth Power from a boy band in the Netherlands, so they had to switch it, and they switched it to Fourth Impact, and which is a much better name for them because their music ability, their choreography ability, their personality is so impactful and so inspirational that it's hard not to fall in love with their progress through the music industry. And I've been watching their live streams on Sundays and Saturdays, pretty much every week since this time last year, since I found their music. And if everybody, if anybody's looking for some good, honest, genuine people to watch and listen to, as far as music, Fourth Impact is. I would give them 10 thumbs up, because they're just amazing, amazing, amazing women. They barely had at the time of Typhoon Ulysses, they were barely making it on their own. Like, they were barely making enough money to support themselves, and they did a vlog about them buying um, relief goods with their own money to give to the relief areas, to give to people that were majorly affected by the typhoon. And I was like, that is something that you very rarely see a celebrity digging into their own pocket and giving it to somebody. These people are worth following, in my opinion. Gizmar. Yeah, but yeah, I totally stand behind and stand up for Fourth Impact. I love their music. Um, they got their own songs out, um, and one of their songs, actually, I think the year that they sang it on the Wish Bus was 2017, and in 2013 I was in process of writing a 5-book series that, um, uh, in the third book, the song Times Two that they sang in 2017 would fit so great into a scene in my book. And I was like, oh, you know, how can I not, like, soon as I heard that song, I was like, I got to find out more and more and more about these particular singers. Because, like, how do you get two people that don't even know each other, never even heard of each other, write something that would go so seamlessly together? I really would love to meet them. That's one of the reasons why I want to fuck off to the Philippines. A, meet Jismar. B, meet Fourth Impact. B, C, meet the Filipina P and Paul Old Dog New Tricks. I'd like to meet all them people. Why? Because I think it'd be a whole lot of fun. And anything that I do, it's going to be fun. Long as there's coffee there. Because I like to drink my coffee. I like to drink coffee. Yeah, and I like my coffee like I like my women. Hot, wet, and all day long. Yeah, 'cause it's like 10 o'clock at night right now. I'm still drinking coffee. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here shortly. It's 9:54. I've been on here for 2 hours. Um, well, I've been on here for an hour and 53 minutes. So I think we'll go to the 2 hour mark. Then I'm gonna shut her down. Um, but Top Cat Talent Show. Nice story. Yeah, yeah. The story about me being called Crazy Kid. Yeah, it's a story that I'll never forget. A funny thing about it is my parents used to camp out at this trailer park, and my dad was used to be a like fireman a long time ago, a volunteer fireman, and they found that out, and they said, "Hey, will you be in charge of setting off the fireworks for Canada Day?" So my dad was like, "Yeah, okay, we've done it so many times before." So my dad and a couple other guys that he knows, one guy he actually was on the fire department with, were setting off these fireworks. And one year, my dad says to me, he says, "This year you're going to be giving me a hand." And I'm sitting there drinking a beer, and I start laughing at him. He's like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "You do realize you're going to be handling explosives, and you're asking the one guy out of the entire park who's known by thousands of people on the internet as Crazy Kid to help you light explosives off. Now, does that sound very safe? And he's like, shut up. You're the safest person out of the entire park, anyways. So, even though my dad knows that I do anything for a laugh and do anything for a good time, he knows that I always keep my head about me. I guess that's how I survive so many tornadoes and blizzards and bad weather that we get here in Canada in the area that I'm in. Like, I don't lose my head. I don't lose my shit when the crisis starts. It's not going to help you. Like, you can't control when you're going to die. You can't control how you're going to die. You can't control where you're going to die. So try and control something that you can control. And that is the look on your face when you actually do die. Because like the last look on my face, like the last look I have on my face when I go to die, I'm trying to control it so it's not. So, you know, just gotta keep your head, keep your focus, because that's going to keep you alive. Like, I was out in a boat one time, 15 and a half foot bow rider, 10 miles south of Erie. My uncle and I are out there fishing in Lake Erie. All of a sudden, this tornado pounded Erie, which is like 10 miles away, 10 miles of water away. It pounded Erie, and when it come out to the lake, it split into two water devils. And my uncle, when the tornado pounded Erie, the sky went black like that. The waves went from like not even a foot tall to like 25 feet tall. And we're in a 15 and a half foot bow rider. So we surfed the wave back to we surfed the waves back to the channel to get, to go and launch or to launch the boat, or not launch the boat, but retrieve the boat and get the hell out of there. So we're surfing these waves, and I lost my hat and got hit in the head with a ball of rain about that big around. And we ended up driving right between these two tornadoes, these two water devils. We ended up driving the boat right between them. And, we get through that, get on the way down the lake, and we ended up getting into the channel like from 10 feet or from 10 miles away, and we couldn't see 10 feet in front of our face. We managed to make it to the channel and get through the channel, get to the gas pumps, tie the boat off with the bilge pump just going full blast. Like, it looked like it was putting out a fire into the into the water. We jump out of the boat, we run underneath this canopy, and as soon as we got up underneath the canopy, the sun come out. The clouds just went, and the sun come out. Well, this guy that was working at the gas station, he's sitting there just losing his shit laughing at us. And he's like, "Where did you guys come from?" Well, we were about 10 miles south. And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." When that tornado hit the water, split in two. And that's not the only tornado I've seen. I've seen 4 tornadoes in my life, and I've had it. Give me any kind of a chance to support my life for the rest of my life. Yeah, I'm gone to the Philippines. It's going to be book me a ticket. I'm gone. So all you got to do is climb a tree to get a banana for free. Yeah, show this monkey how to do it. Banana, coconut, Yeah. So I think I'm gonna say adieu, and thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody. I hope everybody had a great time. It was a total shock to see Wandering Sky. I'm glad that I got to see him. He reminded me of a few things um, in my past. John Lobley, I'm glad you showed up. Jismar, I'm always happy to see you. Wang, I'm always happy to see you as well. And Net's vlog, you always been a dear friend. Caboose, you've always been a great guy. Stephen Batten, Manning Saring TV, thanks for stopping by. Mason Actics, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming around, watching for as long as you did. Top Cat Talent Show. Thanks for stopping by and reminding me of a story. Yeah, Roller Coaster Ride. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here pretty much for the whole thing. Really appreciate your help and your support. Lay a journey. Thanks for coming by. I'm trying to go through the list. Oh, well, thanks for shooting. Thanks for shooting by. And peace, love, and happiness to everybody. And we'll see you on the next one. Crazy Train out.